I've seen way too many people jump on a bargain soundbar, only to end up muting the dialogue in their favorite shows and cranking the volume so high the whole room rattles. The regret that follows feels almost inevitable when the cheap unit can't keep up with modern codecs or the size of a living room theater. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The real question is whether the Hisense AX3120Q, bundled with an 85-inch QLED TV, actually saves you from that disappointment and feels like a smarter buy. When you're standing in the aisle, the price tag of a mid-range sound system can look tempting, especially if the TV you're pairing it with already promises Dolby Vision and a huge screen. But the hesitation comes from the fact that a soundbar isn't just an accessory, it's the bridge between the visual spectacle and the story you're trying to hear. If the bar can't separate a whisper from a crash, you'll find yourself either pausing every scene to read subtitles or accepting a muffled experience. That's the risk most buyers face, splurging on a giant TV while the audio stays stuck in the past. The AX3120Q is a 3.1.2 channel system, which means it adds height speakers to the traditional left-right center layout, aiming for a bit of overhead ambience that Dolby Atmos can deliver. In a room that's roughly 15 by 20 feet, the soundbar's built-in upward-firing drivers actually manage to lift the sense of space without needing a full-blown speaker array. When you fire up a Netflix original with Dolby Atmos, you'll notice rain falling from above and helicopters circling overhead, even though the unit sits just below the TV. For a family that watches a lot of streamed movies, that extra vertical dimension can make a movie night feel genuinely cinematic. Dialogue clarity is where many soundbars stumble, and the AX3120Q tries to address that with quick-touch EQ modes. I tested the speech preset during a binge of a fast-talking crime drama, and the vocal frequencies were boosted just enough to cut through the background music without making the rest of the mix sound thin. The result was you could follow the plot without squinting at subtitles, which is a real win for households with kids who still rely on clear speech cues. Bass performance is another practical concern. The system includes a separate wireless subwoofer that sits on the floor. In a modestly carpeted living room, the sub delivers a satisfying thump for action movies. You feel the impact of explosions, but the bass never overwhelms the mids. That balance matters because too much low end can muddy dialogue, especially on a large 85-inch screen where visual detail is already intense. The sub's placement flexibility lets you move it to a corner for a bit more punch, or keep it farther away if you're worried about rattling picture frames. Surround effect in a 3.1.2 setup is inevitably more subtle than a full 5.1.2 system, but the height channels do give an impression of sound moving around you. In a sports broadcast, you'll hear crowd noise rise above you and the stadium ambience wrap around, creating a sense of being in the stands rather than just hearing a mono track. If your room is open plan and you have a glass wall behind the TV, the sound will bounce a bit, which can actually enhance the sense of space without any extra speakers. Connectivity is where the bundle shines. The soundbar doubles as a Fire TV hub, meaning you can stream directly from the bar without needing a separate streaming stick or box. I plugged the TV's HDMI ARC into the soundbar and the Fire TV interface appeared on the TV screen, allowing me to browse Netflix, Prime Video, or YouTube without juggling remotes. The remote itself is fairly simple: a single home button, volume rocker, and a mode selector. There's a slight learning curve if you're used to a full-featured TV remote, but once you get the hang of the mode button, switching between movie, music, and voice is almost instantaneous. One practical weakness I noticed is the remote's infrared nature when it comes to controlling the TV. While the soundbar can send audio back to the TV via ARC, the remote doesn't always control the TV's power or input selection reliably if the TV is out of line of sight. That means you might still need the TV's own remote for a quick power off, which is a minor inconvenience but worth noting if you like a single remote setup. Who should buy this bundle? If you already own, or are planning to purchase, an 85-inch QLED TV and you want a sound solution that keeps up with Dolby Vision and Atmos without adding a full home theater rig, this is a solid choice. Families with kids, gamers who want clear directional cues, and anyone who enjoys streaming services that support object-based audio will find the height speakers and speech EQ mode particularly useful. It also works well in medium-sized rooms where a separate bookshelf speaker system would feel overkill. Who should skip it? If you have a massive dedicated home theater room, you'll